Hi Tim, thanks for the footage and thanks for the notes attached to the footage. In my opinion, what you've got is, obviously you've got a number of things going on here. Accumulator 1, which is the right arm bending and straightening. Accumulator 2, which is the wrist hinging. It's happening too much too soon. If you think about your backswing, if you wanted to break it down into its simplest form, a real sort of basics, the backswing is an exercise in extending, side bending, turning, whilst loading the accumulators. That is all we're doing. Different styles of backswing or different backswings look different ways because guys do things in a different sequence or at different rates. But ultimately every golfer during the backswing is turning, side bending and extending and loading his accumulators. So what I see here is someone who is loading accumulator 1 and 2 very, very early, which is why the club gets elevated very quickly, always stays out in front of the hands. As you load accumulator 2, which is the wrist, the lead wrist starts to cup to accommodate this, which is opening the club face to the path, which then has to be rectified in order to hit the ball straight. Because you used the loading of accumulator 1 and 2 to elevate the club, there is a little bit less of a need to use the extension and the tilts in the knees and the pelvis and the shoulders to elevate it. So we're doing a little bit too much with the accumulators too soon. I appreciate that this footage is you recently having reminded yourself that you've got to start to extend in the backswing. So the body's working differently to what it would have been a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, doing everything with the accumulators, which means we don't have to do as much with the body, which means the extension and the side bend is going to start to become neglected, if you will. So for me, I would like to see a much more balanced look at this point, and I'm going to stop it here for you. So at P2.5, you have a situation where the shaft of the club is pointing straight up into the air. We can see here that the lead wrist has already started to cup. It started to cup earlier than that. And we also see that accumulator 1 is pretty much fully loaded. The swing I would have you look at more than anything else on YouTube at the moment would be Steve Stricker. Steve Stricker's got a very non-wristy swing. And when I look at this, it might sound like an oversimplification. If it does, great, because that's what a lot of people need in golf anyway. I'd like to see you make a much less wristy action. If you visit my channel, you'll see a number of examples of this. I've been doing one recently with a guy called Duncan Baxter, and I'll try and dig out a few videos and comparisons that we've been doing. But the more you do with the accumulators early in the swing, the less you need to do with the body. Now here we've got a combination of both. You've noticed that the body's doing nothing, so you're really getting the body involved early, but the accumulators are loading. I mean, you're loading the hell out of it there by P2.5. As we get to the top, everything looks a little bit narrow, the arms have overflexed, the wrists have overloaded. Now the downswing is an exercise in trying to flatten out that lead wrist whilst keeping the pivot going. You can see how open, if you look at the down the line footage, I mean, your club face is way open at that point. Later in the swing, the wrists will start to come out to allow you to roll the club a little bit more and square things up. But it's a real exercise in timing. And when all your moons are aligned, you hit the ball great, which is why you play off the handicap you play off. But you can see the downswing is very much a sort of rescue mission based on what we've seen before. So that's the critical point of the swing to focus on, and I would want to see much less loading of accumulator 1, the right arm, and accumulator 2, the wrists at that point. I'll do a little video to accompany this of me demonstrating the moves and the feels that I want you to do, and I'll send that across on Messenger to you.